Bit of a throwback, we're going to talk about BTC pairs, we're going to talk about 6 altcoins that you can buy, and I'm also going to teach you how to find certain ones, which are very, very simple, especially if you're holding them, right? On the screen, BNB, this is not one of them, by the way, if you're wondering. I'm going to explain what this means. This is the BTC value of the asset, which actually equals 250 bucks, right? Voila, can you see? So, before people get confused, I know this can be confusing. The BTC pair is literally the price of what it is in USD, depending on what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin's doing very, very well and it's growing, it's like, yay! We know what's happened. The altcoin market's going to go up, but it only usually goes up in the USD pair. However, there's sometimes when the dominance goes down, altcoins are outperforming BTC. That's very rare. When it happens, it's called alt season, right? So we're going to explain that in simple terms, and hopefully I have, because you need to look at this, right? When we look at, obviously, the price of BTC, it's up quite a bit today. Some altcoins are doing well, some of them are not doing as well. It will depend on what you're looking at, but most altcoins I've picked in this video are on the floor, right? And in my Patreon, I've explained my plan, what I'm aiming to do. I've just bought some rows today in the BTC pair, that's public, but I've got another plan that I'm looking to do if things in the market change. In terms of selling your altcoins into BTC, using BitCare is my main exchange at the moment. All you need to do, go onto your pairs, press the BTC pair, right? These don't have as many. There's other ones. Obviously, if you want to join this exchange, there's a link below for some nice little juicy discounts and welcome bonuses, because it's actually a really decent trading exchange. However, you need to go onto your market, so using BNB as an example here, go to the BNB market and look for the BTC pair. Obviously, Binance has them, right? To give you an idea of where you can sell. Also, if you wanted to sell in Ethereum or BNB, you can do the exact same thing, right? So, with that said, before I show you my 3 that I've picked for this video, I want to show you that if you put in a total 2/BTC, this is giving you the entire market cap of the cryptocurrency market, excluding BTC, in the BTC pair, right? And you can see that we're in a bit of a downtrend. That's not good. Basically, you want to buy this as low as you possibly can. Now, there's a little line down here. My eyes are on that line. If you know, you know. So, basically, the rule of thumb is simple. Buy when the dominance is high, BTC, but when the total 2 is in the BTC pair, buy when this is low. So you want to try and buy these lows and sell high. That will then grow your Bitcoin. Let me show you a good example of what you should have, hopefully in the future, right? Injective protocol. Injective, right? This in the BTC pair is doing very, very well. This has been going through its own bull market over the course of this year. It is up 7 times its value in BTC. It has outperformed BTC 7-1, right? So simple maths. If you put 1 BTC in this, you would now have 7 extra. That's kind of how it works and why it's so important you understand it. And when you look at these charts, you will see that most of the market, probably 99% of the market, has been outperformed by Bitcoin. This is one of the exceptions, right? So let's get into it. Number 1, very obvious, Polkadot. Look at it. Wow. Now, if Bitcoin goes, as I said before, up to like $180,000, Polkadot may well reflect nicely in the USD prices. However, it may not reflect as nice in this pair. So it also needs to do its own little movement too. So that's hugely important in terms of where we can go. The fundamentals of this is pretty simple. This needs to outperform, but there's another chart to look at as well. You can look at individual BTC dominances that are here, right? Most of them are all here. So if you look at .D, when this is high, you should be selling, because that would be, you know, say for example, this goes with the 2%, that would indicate that Polkadot is 2% of the entire market. Probably even well then, right? Just give you an idea. So yeah, going back to that chart there, don't worry, they're not all that. In terms of this, which is relatively straightforward, well, you just got to look at where can this go. And I always say to people, don't expect all-time highs on this pair, but expect some movement, because when we start looking into an alt season of the market in terms of how the market moves, it gets very, very interesting. Now, just to give you an idea, you know, even if it goes up like halfway here, or even up to these points, you could be making a 4 times the amount of your BTC that you've got stored in this, depending on where you bought, right? Pretty decent little takeaway. The next one is Near Protocol. Near Protocol is literally at crazy low levels. It was at the all-time lows not too long ago, and you can see where it is now. And this has got a massive amount of movement up to the upside potential here. Now, as I said before, this one's pretty crazy. When you go from today's date to now, you know, you could be even up to this point here, 5 times your BTC worth could be in this, which is pretty scary. So Near Protocol for me looks relatively undervalued. Another one, Rose. Again, look at this high, crazy. Didn't really get a bull market. It was kind of there, but it didn't really have much of a utility back in those days. Now it's very, very different. Now, again, we're looking at these lows. I've just bought this not too long ago. And I think this is pretty crazy to think that this could go pretty high too. But this one has a bit more potential because it didn't really have that oomph in the first bull cycle it had. Could go much higher. But when you think about the fact that it could go up to like 600 sats, maybe even 800 sats, and give you still 3 to 4x, that's pretty good. Another obvious example, and the fact that it's went all the way down to these levels and it's bounced off it, AVAX. AVAX all-time high was 25,000 Satoshis. It's now 3,700, right? So that's pretty scary to think that where can this go? Again, when we look at the highs, this has got a lot of maneuverability to go even higher. Again, could be a 3 to 4x pretty much right there in front of you. Now, I know some people will be like, can't really comprehend this, but when you put like BTC into a market and you're thinking, well, I can sell into BTC, you want to try and grow your Bitcoin as much as you possibly can. Sell obviously in USD, but your portfolio should have a decent chunk in BTC. I talk about this quite a lot on Learning Crypto. I talk about this a lot on my Patreon. Have a decent nest egg of Bitcoin. It's good for portfolio stability. It kind of makes more sense. Again, looking at another obvious one is Link. Chainlink here, doing very, very well. Its utilities change. It is, you could probably argue, coming up at resistance, and it has done a massive move, but this could still be very much potentially undervalued here, which is quite scary to think where this can go. And, you know, this could blow right above its all-time high if it wanted to, because these all-time highs were actually in 2020. So keep an eye on that one as well. And the final one, MOONBEAM. Okay, simple one, I know. But the reality is here, this has never had a bull market. This could really go pretty much flying. And some assets in the past that I bought, RSI is a great example here, when they are relatively new, sometimes the BTC pair just pops off like a rocket. And when we talk about this, right, and if I just zoom in a little bit, you can probably see, like, yeah, it's obviously very, very low, ridiculously low, but there's a lot of upside here. 737 Satoshis, and some of the like price elements of this was actually all the way at, like, you know, yeah, some of these levels, crazy, right? 17x, you know, you never know. That's all I'm going to say, because this has never really seen a bull market. It came out of a bear market, and you'll find a lot of assets will look relatively interesting. Now, in terms of relative strength of this, in terms of if you want to do some simple maths, you can figure out how much of a price this would be by putting that amount in. So if I go back to my little Google bit here, and if we change this to that number there, bear with me, let me just double check it. So, yep, bear with me, let me just memorize it. Let's just say there. Let's just put that in. So if that is the case, that would indicate, and it would give you a, you know, a $40 glimmer. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. Now, it's probably very, very unlikely to happen. But my point is, if Bitcoin stays the same price, that value would indicate that a $40 glimmer could happen. As I say, very, very unlikely. But even if it's half that, that's $20. Crazy when you think, but as I say, what about if Bitcoin does a 5x from here? Possible. Of course it's possible. We just don't know what's going to happen, right? Some of these Satoshi pairs will go up, but some of them won't go up as high. So be careful. But good solid projects with good fundamentals, and ones that are far away from all-time high, like majority of these, could do something like Injective. Pretty scary proposition. So I hope this video helps you. Ensure that you do like the video if you like this sort of stuff. And yeah, There's a lot out there, but if you want to find your own, go to the total 2/BTC or the total 3/BTC and try and buy as low as you possibly can on altcoins that you like. Then you can sell them in the future for BTC and obviously USD at certain points, and you can grow your Bitcoin. Simple, really.